There's an urban legend going around that the pocket constitutions that were used by the protesters in Nevada and Oregon are Mormon constitutions or Skousen constitutions, and I've also heard them being referred to as abridged and annotated constitutions. I'm here today to tell you that that is an absolute lie and to set that to rest. The constitutions that were used and held in the pockets of the protesters are the real words of the founders. And that is an example of religious prejudice used to undermine the actual protesters and what they were protesting. So we should be arguing about ideas instead of what the words are of the Constitution. You guys can argue about what the Constitution's words mean, that's fine, but please don't include religious prejudice into it. We discuss a lot on the Arnold Law Firm Facebook page about finding common ground, that this protest and its implications are about more than just what they were protesting. It's about free speech, about the Sixth Amendment right to counsel, and it's about, in this example, religious freedom. That certain folks that disagree with someone's message are attacking the messengers because of their faith. If common ground can't be found in the actual words of the United States Constitution, then America is in serious trouble. We can argue and disagree about what the words of the Constitution mean, but we shouldn't have a disagreement about what those words actually are, and we shouldn't be doing it through religious prejudice. Quite the oddity in America that the word Constitution has become a word associated with extremism. When someone quotes the actual words of the Constitution and wants to discuss their meaning, they are often ridiculed. Whereas someone who quotes case law by a judge that interprets the words of the Constitution, they are considered intellectual scholars. That is a strange dichotomy that has occurred in the last few generations. One example of the lies propagated by some of those that are showing religious prejudice against the Mormon faith comes from the Los Angeles Times. Here's showing a picture of John Ritzheimer holding a pocket constitution with the title of the article being "Oregon Armed Protesters Invoke the Constitution," annotated by a conspiracy theorist. That's a lie. Here's another article from Let's Talk Utah. Shows pictures of constitutions, pocket constitutions held by Cliven Bundy, as well as Ryan Bundy. And down here it says Ryan Bundy holds up his perverted version of the Constitution. Again, using religious prejudice to claim that this is somehow not the real words of the Constitution. Here's some examples of the pocket constitution that was seen with Cliven Bundy in 2014, and here it is with Ammon Bundy in 2016. Again, here's the pocket constitution with Cliven Bundy and Ammon Bundy again in 2016. So there's no doubt that this is the pocket constitution that is being referred to in the religious prejudice. So I wanted to just start off by talking about the actual Constitution, which is certified by the United States. The Constitution contains 4,543 words, including the signatures. It's made up of 4 sheets. You're used to seeing this in the signature page, most likely. It contains 7,591 words, including the 27 amendments. If you were to Google the Constitution of the United States of America, you can come across this certified document from the United States government, from the GPO. So there's no dispute that this is the actual Constitution. Then you can look at the pocket constitution that you see a lot of people carrying, which can be found online, usually about $1 a piece or less. It's got a picture of George Washington on the front, a quote by George Washington with the background of the Constitution. Inside the front cover, it has some quotations from some of the founders, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and a little bit of the Federalist Papers. Then we have a little bit about, in the title page, regarding another George Washington quote. The introduction is pretty non-controversial. It's from Ronald M. Mann, the Deputy Director of the Commission of the Bicentennial of the United States Constitution. Then there's a table of contents followed by some quotes by Washington, Daniel Webster, and Benjamin Franklin. Some additional quotes by some founders, Thomas Jefferson, Samuel Adams, John Adams, etc. And it continues to the Constitution of the United States. It has Article 1 and all of the attendant sections and clauses, followed by Article 2, and then Article 3, Article 4 and 5, and 6 and 7, finally the signers of the Constitution. After that, it has the adoption of the Constitution, followed by the preamble of the Bill of Rights, and then the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights. And then it has the other amendments to the Constitution. And that continues all the way to the end, where thereafter it has the Declaration of Independence, word for word, as you could find in Washington, D.C. or online pretty easily. And you can compare the text. It also shows the signers of the Declaration of Independence, followed by a handy index with the clauses. And it has some significant dates at the end from the founding, including the Revolution and the Constitution and some things thereafter. In the end, it has a way to purchase the pocket Constitution, and the back cover is another quote from George Washington. You can compare this word for word with the actual United States Constitution. And we will do that briefly just to put some matters to rest. We can start off with a commonly referred to clause in the Oregon protest, which is found in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the United States Constitution, as can be seen here. You can compare that from this certified page 5 from the GPO to the pocket Constitution. Word for word the same. Not annotated, except by my little note in the margin here that says this is the Enclave Clause, Clause 17. And again, the same annotation, Clause 17, Enclave Clause. And flipping over to the Property Clause of the United States Constitution, which appears on page 9 of the certified copy from the government's website, you can see the Property Clause, another clause talked about a lot regarding the protests in both Oregon and Nevada. And it has Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2, talks about the Property Clause, and you can flip to that in the handy pocket Constitution. You can see the Property Clause on page 14 of the pocket Constitution.